Hey, what's up everyone? It's me, Jamerson. Welcome back to another video. And so today we are talking about Metaphor ReFantazio. Earlier this week there was a showcase where they gave a breakdown of the game. And so I'm just gonna, shorten it because it's about like 30 minutes long, so I figured make a small video to break down the stuff that I found interesting and you may find interesting as well. So if you want to see more of this stuff and more coverage on Metaphor, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think of the game if you've already seen it. Alright, let's get started. So one of the first things that the developers confirm is the premise for the story. The game is set into this world that's thrown into chaos by the assassination of its king, and there is like a royal magic, as they call it, that triggers a special type of election where it basically gives everyone the right to become king. So all people of different classes and races have the right to claim the throne to rule over the land. And you, the protagonist, is one of those characters that just basically journeys throughout the world to form bonds with people, so that way you can gain your support. So I was kind of right in one of my previous videos, like one of my first videos about a Metaphor, where you basically are running from president, which I kind of think is cool. Another thing confirmed by the developers is the fact that you can do a field exploration or is an open world, which is something completely different from the usual Persona formula. And so in the open world you can basically move around, it seems, and you can attack, which probably you're going to be like attacking like regular monsters. They didn't go into the open world that much. The only thing that we saw here so far is that you can use your guide. Her name is Gallica, if I pronounced her name right, and she can like basically do like a eagle vision to gauge the levels of other like monsters in the area, so you can like pick and choose who you want to fight, which I think will be handy. Also, there's like a little thing about where she can play music in your head, which I thought was kind of funny, because I sometimes think of like musics and certain stuff when I'm like watching stuff or whatever. But it does look like it's going to be like a typical open world from what I'm seeing, where you get to pick up stuff, you can hunt monsters and things like that. The next thing that the developers do is talking about the artists that they have brought in to make the world of Metaphor believable and look as great as it does now. So they got Shoji Meguro, who has been a longtime composer for Atlus. They worked on Persona 3, 4, and 5, and they're working on a different like music style for the game, and I think that it's working for them because I think they outshine themselves with the music for this game. They also got Kido Kazuma, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. He is a concept artist that worked on Nier Automata. He worked on like some of the background art as well. And then they also got a mechanical designer named Ikuto Yamashita. This person has worked on Evangelion, that anime series back in the day with like Shinji and Asuka and stuff like that. But yeah, basically he's a mechanical designer, so he's working on like the vehicles and stuff like that. But you can definitely show like the love and time and effort that the developers put into creating the visual aesthetic and style for Metaphor, and I really do appreciate it because it's one of the reasons why I want to get this game. Another thing I found interesting in the showcase was the Gauntlet Runner. The Gauntlet Runner is essentially a mobile base that you and your allies can use to traverse the world to particular places that are further away. It's basically like a glorified loading screen in the sense, but basically the way that it works is when you open up the map while you're in the Gauntlet Runner, then this is where they introduce the whole calendar system, or not calendar system, but like basically it takes time. You have to manage your time because it takes a certain amount of days to get through certain locations, and they were saying that you have a certain amount of time to complete the main story objectives, but in the time, if you manage your time well, you can do like side missions that can get you to fight stronger enemies or attain rare items or weapons and things like that. So if you're worried about time management, I know that's the thing that Persona games have always had before, so that's one thing to note about for Metaphor. But I found the Gauntlet Runner pretty cool, because once you set your destination, there you actually basically inside the Gauntlet runner, and so you can interact with your allies and do like a whole bunch of stuff, as you saw there. Like there's like a washing machine, and you can like cook and stuff like that with them. Another thing that I found really cool is like you can go into the deck, and it was interesting seeing how the Gauntlet Runner was moving. I thought that was kind of pretty cool. It's just something that I really like about it. But yeah. So in the sections about combat, the first thing that they were talked about is the UI. The UI is very slick ever since Persona 5. Atlus has been on the forefront of like UI design, and it is no different with Metaphor. The UI is really good, and I hope whoever is responsible for it is like getting raised. People like responsible for it. But there is in Metaphor there is a turn-based thing. So the way that it works once you're like in dungeons and the combat works is that you're in kind of like a field exploration mode with your squad, and you can summon them to you so they won't be like attacked by other enemies. But you can use your fairy Gallica, I think that's how you pronounce her name. You can use her ability to scan and analyze the area, and if there are enemies that are blue, highlighted in blue, that means that they're weaker enemies and you can attack them. And so you can just attack them in real time, so you can avoid the whole turn-based combat with them, which I think is like pretty cool. It just helps out with the pace of the game. But the enemies that are yellow and above, those are turn-based. From my understanding, those are turn-based. Like that's the only way to get rid of them is turn-based attacks. And so you can do a sneak attack on those enemies and get like an extra hit to get an advantage of it. The combat system, it's a little bit like Persona, where like you have this avatar that does abilities for you. In this game, instead of them be calling personas, they're called archetypes, which basically the protagonist, the allies, and the protagonist and their allies confronts their anxieties and gain a special power, and the archetypes are sort of like heroes to them or something like that. But yeah, there's different types of archetypes that you can get. In the showcase, they showed the Seeker, it's an all-around mage, thief, warrior, healer, and brawler. From what I saw, there's also like you can also apparently there's a transformation where like it looks like you can fuse with the archetypes, and the characters are able to use their abilities themselves. But they didn't go in too much about that, so definitely going to have to. It seems like that's going to be something really important for like the story. Another thing that I noticed that was pretty cool is that you can customize which character has which archetypes. And so basically what I mean is your whole party could just be the brawler archetype, or it could be everybody could be the healer. I don't know why you would, but still, that's the point. You get to customize them and choose who gets which archetype and which they're best with, which it's pretty interesting, offer a lot of player expression. So I would love to see what people will come with once the game officially comes out. And one of the last things that they mentioned in the showcase is the follower system, which essentially is the protagonist during his travels, he meets and befriends people who becomes basically strong supporters for him for his campaign to be king of the land. And so these followers that you meet and befriend, they basically give you access to new archetypes that you can use in battle. And so the more that you interact with these followers, the stronger that your archetypes gets. From what I'm understanding from the video. So you definitely keep an eye on that here. It doesn't seem like there's going to be like any romancing options, so I know there's some people that's going to be upset about that, but I think I understand it. I don't think that the romancing fits for this type of game that they're going for. But that is all the stuff that I had picked up on the Metaphor ReFantazio showcase. I hope this all was informative for you guys. Hopefully it was short and simple than the actual showcase. If you like to see more stuff, more coverage for Metaphor, please like the video and subscribe. It definitely does help out. And what do you think about the game? Are you looking forward to it? And what's your favorite Persona game, or Shin Megami Tensei game, either one? But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.